This program was made possible by
Threadiverse. If looks could kill, these clothes would land you onto a watch list. Check out Threadiverse.com. Get you some sexy apparel. Or join the membership program whenever YouTube stops holding me. Patreon is definitely still a thing, believe it or not, even though I can't link it at the end of the video anymore, for some reason. Links are available in the description and at the end of the video, or at least what I can link.
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle.
So Nintendo decided one day, out of nowhere, full RKO style, just slammed their Joy-Con drift-sized PPs on the table and offered up a glorious gem, some raw beauty onto our heads. That beauty is Robbie, the glorious Chad Beast Robbie, a man so Chad he had to shrink down in Breath of the Wild so other men could have a chance at getting their Deku sticks dipped.
Rule 1 of the researcher's code is to never give up.
The Legend of Zelda, Age of Calamity, a prequel about the events that took place 100 years ago before Breath of the Wild. And if you're any fan of my channel, you can tell I'm a big fan of Breath of the Wild. Or actually, I'm a big fan of the Zelda series itself. I'm a huge simp for Zelda. That's just what it is. Well, not necessarily Zelda the character, but Zelda the game. Especially Midna and Urbosa. Boy, Urbosa. She could crush me with those thighs. Anyways, hopefully if you are just a Zelda fan or not really into the Warriors games, I can be of some use to helping you decide on what to do. And I'm here to tell you, I hate this game. Hyrule Warriors is sort of like a niche franchise within the Zelda series that combines the aspects of Legend of Zelda along with the Warrior style games. These games made are defined by Koei Tecmo, and that series has some ups and some downs, with some peak beauty like Dynasty Warriors 4 or some hot ass garbage like Dynasty Warriors 4. Just kidding. Dynasty Warriors 9.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I wasn't too concerned with how Hyrule Warriors came out originally, but I did have some concerns with Dynasty Warriors 9 being like, at the time of the recording of this video, one of the latest Dynasty Warriors games. I was like, shit, is this what Koei's doing? Nah, fuck that. I want no part of this. But the biggest question that you're here for is, will that be the case? Well, let's take a look. So, the controls. The characters don't play the same, and I enjoy that a lot. The button combinations are similar, but there are some variations there. They have some flashy, zesty, and some pizzazzy moves, especially Impa's. Impa's is pretty dope. I've never actually seen such a cool version of Impa before, but Age of Calamity has really done us some justice. She's an absolute badass in this game. And then she's got the cute dissy thing going for her too. The controls feel tight, sphincter clenchingly tight. You know the kind of types when you're watching a suspense or a horror movie or something like that, the person is hiding under a bed and whoever's chasing them, just you see their feet under the bed as they walk by and then they walk out, like that kind of tight where it's like, oh shit, like it's that kind of tight, and it's damn good. The expected cast of characters are also around as well, and they're a treat to play. Rivali and Mipha are swift and agile, Daruk is a fucking beast, and Urbosa, goddamn, she's by far the most fun to play. With the audio is pretty damn saucy. I like what the sound composers were cooking up in the kitchen, and it's Breath of the Wild but remixed into this grandiose soundtrack fitting for an epic nuts to the border wall fight for your life kind of battle. It's really damn good. The visuals are fucking incredible and has been clearly souped up beyond the original Breath of the Wild. I think by far one of the most favorite visual things that I have added. It's a small thing, but I'm really into it. Is the fact that the background blurs when you target an enemy or at least a mini boss. It looks so dynamic and so cool. It gives me boner goosebumps. I noticed this when I first locked onto a Wizrobe, those sadistic pieces of dog shit. I love torturing them. Anyways, the vibrancy, the colors, the art style, they just pop so much throughout the game. Honestly, you should just see them for yourself. The chef, whoever made these cutscenes, definitely deserves to be kissed. It's the Mr. Steal Your Girl of cutscene.
Check it.
One thing though, or maybe a couple things. The fuck Koei. The obvious invisible barriers. I was really digging this game until I ran into the invisible barriers. Someone had to think, open world game. One of the things that made it such a god tier game was, ignoring Jim Sterling for a second, is the open world aspect. I get a Warriors game is limiting, but there's no excuse in my eyes for not being able to jump over tiny fences, but instead jumping off invisible walls. Just let me jump over the fucking fence. Let me jump over things that you would normally be able to jump over. If my fat ass can jump over it, then Link and everybody else with all these fucking abs should be able to jump over this shit. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Now the outside barriers, I totally get. I can forgive the outside barriers because you gotta have an endpoint, otherwise game sizes will be terabyte sized files, aka Call of Duty 39 whenever that shit comes out. So I get that, but what I don't get is the hot dog shit invisible walls within the map. It may be a small issue, and I think it is a small issue, but it's just hard to avoid it, because that's what really made Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, is the fact that if you see something, you can go to it. Outside of the map, I get. Inside of the map, I don't really think there's an excuse for that. You should be able to jump over things. It's small, but it's really dumb to me. It's just, they conflict. Just don't do that. Koei should be hit over the head with a rolled up newspaper for that. Zelda is a big iconic franchise. Don't treat it the same way you treat Zhang-He.
Inexplicably brandishing another character's throwing knives. I still can't believe that's what they did to him.
Other than that one gripe, the maps are basically almost, with a few liberties taken of course, a one-to-one comparison of what the original Breath of the Wild map had. And the enemies too, the enemies look really good. Moblins though, Moblins are fucking shredded now. I'm not sure what happened between 100 years ago and when they appeared in Breath of the Wild, the original Breath of the Wild. They were kind of flabby, but now they're fucking jacked.
Those look angry.
Oh yeah, and the sections with the Divine Beast. They're okay, they feel okay, but they're lacking to me. I'm guessing that Koei and Zelda team, they really thought that the people would miss out on these cool Megazord battles. I mean, Divine Beast battles. Only way I see this being exceptionally fun is if you're fighting other giant creatures. It's okay though, it's not too bad. I think the problem that I have with the Divine Beast battles is probably the same problem that I have with Dynasty Warriors or Koei's games as a whole. It's brain dead, and considering the situation that we're in at the time of this recording, the less brain dead actions in the world, the better. But it's pretty weird though, like there's potential there, you can tell, like there's a glimmer of potential that shines through. It's like a meal that's kind of, it's okay, there's something that can make it better, but you don't quite hit it. I think that's the Divine Beast battles. But overall, the gameplay is very solid and to me, better than your typical Warriors game. There's various parts of Breath of the Wild's map that you can venture to both for large scale battles, small scale skirmishes, or even small scale solo missions or side quest kind of things. I'll give it to Koei. They're working on earning that paycheck outside of their own series. They made a lot of these additional missions and the like seem very authentic to the story itself. You can craft and power up your weapons, and the Fire Rod and Sheikah Slate add both additional levels of abilities, fire, lightning, the Ice Rod. They give you more torture options for bokoblins, and that's always fun torturing them. It's an actual treat. With the Sheikah Slate, you can throw bombs, destroy destroyable objects, ride on ice, kick off ice, use it to freeze enemies, use magnets to beat enemies with other metal objects, including their own weapons. You can even freeze them in place while you smack the shit out of them relentlessly. You can give them some of that Bayonetta treatment. The difficulty is pretty solid. It's not as great as I would like it to be. One of the requests that I had was the AI being at least the level of Breath of the Wild, maybe a bit better would have been nice, as it's always been a problem with Dynasty Warriors style games. The AI suffers so you can have hundreds of enemies on the screen at once, but I'd prefer, me personally, to have fewer enemies and smarter and tougher AI. That's just me, because I'm not really a super fan of just like mowing stuff down. That's kind of boring to me, but I still love it. But to be fair, completely fair, and meet the programmers halfway, I would take smarter AI on the smaller scale missions. That way you can focus directly on the quality of the AI rather than just letting them be dumb as shit. But I will say they pretty much more or less meet the current standard of the original enemies in Breath of the Wild, as well as Dynasty Warriors enemies, so I'll take it where I can get it. There's other small issues here and there. Frame rate is definitely obviously one of them, which I'm sure like Breath of the Wild, it'll get fixed. Oh yeah, I did say that I hated this game. I do hate that this game makes me love it so much. You see where I'm going? A little bit of a misdirection. Anyways, the characters, the story, the drama, testicle friend that follows you all around everywhere, it's all an absolute banger of a game. I give The Legend of Zelda Age of Calamity Testicle Robot Friends out of 10. It's a game that's really fun to me. It's stylized to oblivion, and I mean, it's so beautiful. The invisible walls within the map kind of ruin it for me a bit, but I get it. So you can't just paraglide to every part of the map, but I would have taken that free roaming aspect of Breath of the Wild into account when making the game myself, me personally. So invisible barriers, they bust the balls of immersion for me, but it's fine. Other than that, some small gripes here and there, but it's a banger to me. I hate that I love this game, especially since it's a Warriors game. It's that Zelda's charm that just makes it for me, but it's not going to be a game for everyone, so keep that in mind. Yeah, one last thing, the battles. If you choose to go to the salty Splatoon, or very hard instead of Weenie Hut Jr. of regular hard, The battles are long as shit. One battle took me an hour and a half and another took me an hour and 15 minutes. So if you're looking to prove how tough you are, be prepared for some long ass battles, some long drawn out ass battles. They're really long, so I guess you could say you get your money's worth. I think I'm kind of getting the hang of this spoiler-free review kind of thing. So tell me what you think of Age of Calamity. You like it? You lump it? You hate it? Could it be better? Could it be worse? Definitely know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button. Dislike if you didn't. Feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. Subscribes are definitely welcomed in this YouTube hell world. With that said, hope you all enjoyed. Have a fantastic day. If you decide to get the game, I hope you enjoy it as well.